Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to the SFC interviews here with former Stevenage midfielder Dean Parrett today. So, how you doing, Dean? Obviously, it's very uncertain, sort of challenging times that we're going through at the moment. But how you getting through that? You working and stuff at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very difficult time at the minute. A lot of players that I know are out of contract. So, to be fair, I've had to go part-time, just signed for Wildstone. And I'm working as well on one of my friends has got a building company, so been doing a bit of that and doing a bit of coaching as well.
So just staying busy then, really, yeah?
Trying to, mate, yeah, trying to. Obviously, with lockdown and stuff, it's difficult, but yeah, just trying to keep myself busy and active as possible, really.
Which is great, and obviously, the more sort of busier you are, the more you're focused, and yeah, you can sort of just work towards achieving your goal, yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, part-time football's not easy, especially when you've got a job. I've been getting up at 6 in the morning to go for a run, going to work for 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then got to go training at night. So sometimes I'm doing 15-hour days, so it's not easy.
No, that's long days, yeah.
So it's all right though. It keeps me in football, keeps me playing, which I love doing. But obviously, just trying to keep myself busy for throughout the day as well.
And we'll touch on, we'll jump straight into Stevenage, really. And what was it about Stevenage Football Club that, sort of attracted you to join up with, Graham and to sign for the side, yeah?
What, the first time?
The first time around, yeah, very beginning.
I just, to be fair, Leon pushed to get me there. Finally had a meeting with the gaffer, had a good meeting. His words were, if you go out there and have a good session today, I'll sign you tomorrow, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the first season I got a bad injury, didn't I? I done my knee.
Yeah.
But I thought I was doing well before that. Obviously, the location helped because I was living in Enfield at the time, and then I moved to Stevenage once I moved there. And then, to be fair, when I come back from my injury, we had a great season. We got into the playoffs that year. Really enjoyed that. And to be fair, Stevenage got me back into football when I got released from Tottenham. Struggled to find a club. And Stevenage gave me the chance to come back in. So it was nice, yeah.
And did you know much about Stevenage? Did you play down there for like the Spurs reserves or anything like that at the Lamet?
No, at the time when I was there, we used to play at Leyton Orient.
Okay.
We never used to play at Stevenage. Didn't know loads about it, to be honest. But as soon as I walked into the facility there, I was like, wow. Because I'd been out on loan 4 or 5 times when I was at Tottenham.
Yeah.
And some of the facilities you go from Tottenham's like multi-million-pound, unbelievable. They feed you. There's pools there. There's ice baths. Do you know what I mean? They've got everything.
I've got notes of where you were on loan. Actually, you were on loan at a number of teams, weren't you?
Yeah.
Let's have. I know Plymouth Argyle were one of them as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So even like Plymouth was a big club, but Stevenage's facilities, like training centre and stuff, was 100 times better. I don't know if that's changed since then, but when I went down there, we basically trained in a park around the back of the stadium. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but going from as a young player, going from Tottenham's facility to other facilities was difficult. So even like to the extent of like having to provide your own meals for training and things like that. Whereas like a lot of these Premier League young players kind of get pampered, and when they go out on loan, it's a big shell shock.
And it's a little bit like Harry Kane as well. Obviously, Harry Kane is now proven player at Tottenham, but he had a couple of loans in sort of League One, League Two himself, didn't he, as well?
Yeah. It was difficult for him to begin with. I think he did really well at Leyton Orient. I think scored quite a few goals there. But even so, like there's a lot of players that went out that were good friends of mine that struggled to get the grasp of it to begin with, because you're trained in a certain way to play. And a lot of the clubs that you go to don't play the same way. So you have to change your style of play to try and fit into the team. Sometimes not quick enough. The managers at this level don't have a lot of patience. You have to pick up as many points as quick as possible. So they can't really wait around for you to kind of grasp it, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got a couple of people in the chat as well. We've got a question here from Paul. How were you released by Spurs? Was it a harsh decision? So many stories of players, being let go there and not supported by the club.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. To be fair, yeah, it was a little bit harsh at the time because I was playing in the 21s that season, and to be fair, I thought that I was probably one of the best players in that. And I had a meeting at the end of the year, and they said, because I had an option for the year after, and they just said, "Oh, we're not going to take your option up. There's too many people in front of you," which I didn't think was the case at the time. But yeah, it was. There's a lot of things that happen in football that people don't see. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes where people can be a little bit. I don't know. I don't want to say too much in it because this is a live stream. But there's things absolutely. That I could say that people done some stuff to me that was quite bad. Yeah.
And we've got a question here from Russ as well. Obviously, I mentioned this to you before we came live as well. Quick question for Dean. With the news regarding Diego Maradona sadly passing away today, what are your memories of him sort of growing up? Obviously, he's an exceptional talent, wasn't he?
No, he's amazing, yeah. Well, the handball. It's the hand of God.
Yeah.
That's the biggest memory. But just the way he used to play, obviously, Messi, similar, the way they glide with the ball and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the big memory. Yeah, the way he punched the ball in against us.
Absolutely, yeah, and of course, there's so many great players as well. In that bracket, the Maradonas, the Pelés, the Eusebios, the Cruyffs, the Beckenbauers. There's even like to the England lot as well, the Charltons and the Clemences and stuff like that as well. And it's just fantastic to obviously have that legacy still, and have that. Sort of greatness about him, yeah.
No, he's an amazing player.
And then we've got another comment there from Paul as well. Best player ever in a Spurs shirt for you? That's a question there. So, what's your sort of thoughts on that? I can't say too much as an Arsenal fan. I'll just say Sol Campbell.
Oh, are you? I'm going to press the red button then. Best player. Who would I say? I'd have to say, do you know what I really liked? David Ginola.
Great player. Even as an Arsenal fan, he was exceptional. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like how silky he was and the way he used to run with the ball and stuff. There's so many that you could say, but I just used to love the way he used to play.
Duncan there. Interview terminators. As soon as I mentioned
who? Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, Arsenal. If you would have told me you was an Arsenal fan before, I wouldn't have agreed to it.
No. But no, well, we'll jump into Stevenage anyway. You were signed by Graham Wesley back in 2013. So, what were your memories of the gaffer as well? When obviously you were signed on the back of the promotion from the Conference and League Two. So we were League One at that point, weren't we?
Yeah. Just he was a good guy. Training was very, very hard though. It was every day was difficult. Some days we were there till really late, going home in the dark. But to be fair, we had a great season that season, so the boys didn't mind doing it. And it brought us closer together because we had to support each other through the tough days. Some days people just wanted to go to sleep, and we got each other together. We worked hard. It's a shame we were so close to doing it that year. But then obviously the first season I got there, I got injured with 10 games to go and we got relegated. So I was gutted about that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And got a question here from Tim as well. Would you ever sign for Stevenage for a third time? Was that it now, to be honest, for you at the club?
To be fair, I had an option for next year. Which I thought might have got taken up. I feel like there's unfinished business there, especially with last year.
Yeah.
I picked up an injury under Dino on a boot camp that we went on, and I just struggled to get back to just to get rid of it really, and it took a little while to kind of diagnose what it was. So it was a little bit of a sticky season last year. I do feel like there's unfinished business there. That's why I came back. But yeah, why not?
And well, obviously you've got a club at the moment as well, which we'll touch on. We might as well do that now. So you're currently playing part-time with Wellstone, which is where sort of Tom Pett made his name and guys like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great little club, to be fair. To be honest, I'd never really knew too much about it. Went to meet the manager. I knew the manager personally. Yeah. He gave me a call and said, like, what's your situation? I said, well, I'm working at the moment. I went training with Crawley to keep fit because I know a couple of people there. But there's just no budgets anywhere. There's no money at all. Obviously, they need to let the fans back in, not only for the players to have some atmosphere at the game. Like I played in the first game, I only played 4 or 5 minutes, but we played Sutton last weekend. No fans there. It just doesn't feel real. Like the whole point of football is having the atmosphere of the fans, good or bad. Like it brings the best out of the players. It doesn't feel. It feels like a reserve team game every game. So they need to get them back for that, and also like clubs financially, because they can't sign anyone at the moment. Everywhere I've been, they say, yeah, we really like you, but we just have no budget. We have to wait until January. And then, but the thing is, players have bills to pay, and they have mortgages, they have kids. So we need to be having some sort of income. So that's why I made the decision of speaking to the gaffer at Wildstone and saying, because he spoke to me at the start of the summer about coming in. I said I want to stay in the league, and I spoke to him again, and he said, "Oh, come in." And I've been in, yeah. So it's a great little club, to be fair. The way they want to play is fantastic. They want to play out from the back, and they're doing pretty well. They got promoted last year, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And we've got some comments there as well, but I'll jump to what I was going to ask anyway. First of all, so you made your debut in League One for Stevenage against Crewe, and what was it like in the build-up for that game? Sort of, when did you know you'd be in the matchday squad, and things like that?
Oh, that was a long time ago. It's hard to remember, actually.
It's like 2013, so 7 coming on 8 years ago. Yeah.
Jesus. I'll be honest, I struggled to remember last week. Nah, to be fair, it was obviously I played a few games in the league, being out on loan and stuff, so I kind of knew what it was about. Yeah. But it's just that excitement of actually being at a club, signed. There's no going back to Tottenham now. This is it. This is you building a career. So yeah, it was really exciting. And the one thing I do remember mainly about that first spell was the goal against Milton Keynes.
Yeah, great finish.
Then, yeah, I enjoyed that. That feeling was unbelievable. And then that was my first real league goal for a real club, if you know what I mean. Not being out alone.
Yeah.
And obviously got injured in that game and somehow the referee gave a free kick against me for it. I still to this day can't understand that.
No, and when you signed for Stevenage, were there sort of any guys that sort of helped you more than others?
Mate, sorry, I lost you. One sec.
All right, mate.
Oh.
Hello, yeah. So I was just saying, when you signed for Stevenage, were there any guys there from the sort of Spurs academy that you knew? Obviously, Ronnie and Daisy sort of helped you settle in.
Sorry, mate, I lost you.
Hello.
Is that better? Yeah, I think that's better.
Yeah, I was just saying, when you signed for the club, were there sort of any guys that helped you settle in more than others, like sort of Daisy and Ronnie and guys like that, who you might have known a little bit about from Spurs?
I got on really well with Phil Moraes. Yeah, and Ronnie's always a good guy. Darius Charles, still speak to Darius. Good friends with Darius. Been on holiday with Ronnie quite a few times with the family.
Okay. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, no, to be fair, like Stevenage has always had good people. And there's not many people in football you can say we're still in contact, we still talk. But if out of my group that I could say, the people are people from Stevenage, for sure. And
we've got some comments come through as well. Dan has put, would you ever go back to Tottenham if it came up?
100%. I'm a Spurs fan, so of course.
We got a comment there from Duncan saying we need your experience as well. And Jay has put, do you think we should have won against Southend in the playoff because you scored that absolute screamer, didn't you, in the home game as well? And of course, that's the game with the incident between Timms and Bira Dembele. And then obviously we went on to Roots Hall and we lost in, was it extra time? It was, wasn't it, I think?
Lost in extra time, yeah. Yeah, I think we should have won that, yeah. Definitely. We scored first in both games as well.
Yeah.
We scored first at their place.
Petty, wasn't it?
Petty scored, yeah. I felt like we was the better team in both games as well. But it's just it's one of them things. To be fair, that season they were a resilient team, and it was just it was difficult. Obviously, going 1-0 up in both games, but we run out of legs in the second game. We had 3 or 4 injuries. We had to make 3 subs in that game as well, and there's people in extra time that had like muscle injuries and stuff that were continuing to play just for the side. So we kind of just run out of bodies.
And we had players playing out of position. I think we had a few. I can't remember who it was. I think
Welkdale played right back, didn't he?
Welkdale was right back. I think Charlie Lee was centre back. I can't remember who was alongside, but there was players playing in their sort of not natural positions.
Yeah, but I'm sure Welk's got injured. I think he done his ankle quite early on. I think Charlie come off with a hamstring.
Yeah.
Might have been Simon Walton come off as well, but I think we had 3 injuries before extra time, and we had more that could have come off, but boys just battled through it. But yeah, it's a shame because that was a good squad that we deserved a bit more, I think.
And with these days now, obviously we're now allowed the 5 subs as well, and obviously I think you can have an extra sub in extra time, can't you? As well, I'm not too sure, but that would have made quite a big difference, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The thing is, as well, at this level, you have really small squads, so it's players play a lot of football, a lot of minutes, and at the top level, you have 5 or 6 massage people to give you massages.
Yeah.
You have all the pools, you have the ice baths, you have all these different things to help you recover every game. Whereas at this level, you don't have that. You might have one person giving massages for 30 people. You might have. If you want to go to the pool, you have to go yourself. You know what I mean? It's just like little things that can help you. But like I said, because there's such small squads as well, people got to play 50, 60 games a season. When it gets to the business end of the season, some people can run out of steam.
And that finish as well, is that your favourite goal in the Stevenage shirt?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, by far. Funny enough, I scored a couple of good goals, but always with my weaker foot. I don't know why that was, but I think I scored one against Cambridge as well, where
Boxing Day. Was it Boxing Day or
smashed it? Huh?
Just after Boxing Day, wasn't it, or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would never write off coming back to Stevenage. To be fair, it would always have a soft spot for Stevenage. They gave me a lot, so.
And of course, we had the FA Cup run as well, where we went on to round 4 and we played Everton. And what are your sort of memories around that game? I know it was quite a difficult game in terms of. Didn't we play them in the League Cup as well? Actually, the same season.
I think that's when I signed. I think we played them in the FA Cup and we got done 4-0 that game, and I came in as a sub. I think, yeah.
I think we played them in the League Cup as well and lost. I think it might have been 2-1, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. That was quite early on because I think I signed in the October or November of that season. I think it was.
Yeah.
So I'd missed the first game and I'd only just come in, so I came off the bench against them the first time. But yeah, no, they've always had good cup runs, Stevenage. So did they beat Newcastle a few years before that? Yeah,
that was under Graham with pretty much a large portion of that squad who got promoted from League 2 and through the conference as well. And some of the guys that you played with, Ronnie and Daisy, and some of the other guys were part of that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've always had good people, like I said before, at the club.
And we've got some comments to look at as well. So let's scroll up. Here we go. From Tim, who were your football idols growing up as a young boy?
Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steven Gerrard and Paul Scholes, the two for me.
And that's how you sort of base your game around those two, because obviously you're a similar kind of, positional player as well. Yeah.
Like a lot. I always used to have arguments with my friends. Everyone used to like Lampard because he used to like score loads of goals and that. And I was like, Gerrard was the one for me. Just the way he used to carry the team. Like he'd score these goals from like 40 yards and like, do you know what I mean? Just the way he can control the game, the way he pulled the team forward. That he was my idol. And then Scholes, he just had like a sat nav of a foot, didn't he? He was class. Yeah, so it was them two for me.
All right. So you spoke about the MK Dons game yourself already.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look next. Yeah. So obviously you said about the relegation as well. So how much of an impact did the club rise up through the divisions playing you signing as well on the back of knowing they'd been promoted, double promotions from the Conference and League Two?
Sorry, can you say that again, please?
Yeah. So how much did the two promotions have an impact on you joining the club?
Quite big, to be honest. Obviously, coming out of Tottenham, I didn't want to drop too low.
Yeah.
I tried to get into the Championship because I didn't want to go too low too quickly. I was actually training with Brentford when Stevenage come around.
Okay.
Obviously, there was League One at the same time, and it was going really well there. That's why when I went to meet Graham, I said to him, "Look, I'm at Brentford at the moment. I'm doing really well. Something could happen in the next couple of days." So he said to me, "Look, go out and train, do well, and I'll offer you a contract tomorrow." And I said, "Well, I am due back into Brentford tomorrow." And he went. So I went out and trained anyway, done well. And he rang me that night and said, "Don't go to Brentford tomorrow. We're going to send you an offer."
Okay, and then you signed straight away the next day then, pretty much.
I signed the next day, yeah.
Okay, that's really good. And then let's have a little look. So, you said about the game against Cambridge. That was a Christmas fixture as well. What were your sort of experiences and memories of those derby games?
We seemed to do pretty well in them, I thought. It's always a good atmosphere, and to like score obviously makes it more special. But to be fair, I always kind of approached every game the same. Didn't like to kind of build anything up too much because I think if you do, sometimes it can affect you. But obviously, you kind of know in the back of your mind that it's a derby game, so let's not lose. Do you know what I mean? Just make sure we win this game. But like I said, I tried to just approach every game in the same way.
All right. We've got some more comments. Let's jump to these as well. From Paul again. What would you have done if you hadn't played football?
What would I have done? Probably got into construction. I've done construction in school and got like distinctions in it. So that was kind of my backup. If things didn't go according to plan.
Yeah.
That's why I've kind of ventured into that a little bit since obviously being released and it being quite tough out there. So I've kind of dipped my toe back into construction just to see what it's like.
And how are you getting on with that side of it as well? Is that something that you really enjoy alongside playing at Wildstone at the moment?
It's been good. It's difficult though. It's very, very difficult. It's early starts. Obviously, I'm trying to keep myself fit as well, so I can play football. So I'm up early, even earlier, to do that first. They're long old days, and then you get back. I had to let you down last week, so I got stuck at work.
Yeah, no, it's fine, mate. These things happen. It's all good,
So it's kind of a little bit unpredictable as well. So you don't know kind of what hours you're doing, where you need to be and stuff. But it's been good. I'm enjoying it.
We've got some more comments there as well from Tim. What are your plans for when you retire from football? Do you reckon you'll stay in the construction industry and sort of do more stuff with that?
Well, I've just started up coaching school in Stevenage.
Right.
It's something that I've wanted to do a long time. I tried to open it up while I was at Stevenage. Stevenage said that they didn't want me to. So I had to leave that. But now, obviously, I've left. Something that I've wanted to do. So I've started that up. I just kind of want to give back to the younger generation a little bit of knowledge of what I've learned over the years. But it's going pretty well. Before we got locked down again, we had 45 kids over there.
That's really good. I did see a few of the photos actually and stuff that was uploaded onto the website. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it does. It's really, really good. We had 45 kids. I launched a girls only session as well the Friday before we got locked down. We had 20 there. They enjoyed it. I had some first team girls from Harlow down to coach them.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got some good ideas of how to kind of run something that's pretty good for the kids around the area. I don't think there's too much around Stevenage area, is there? So,
not an awful lot, no.
But yeah, it's just trying to give back a little bit to Stevenage, really, like Stevenage area.
And whereabouts do you do that? Is that kind of a set location, or do you sort of go into the schools, or how does that work?
So you just hire a pitch. So I'll do it every Friday. Going to run 50 weeks of the year, close over Christmas for 2 weeks. And then it's just going to be, I have like really good coaches there, qualified coaches. It runs, so the first hour is 6-year-olds to 10-year-olds. Okay. And then the second hour is 10s to 14s. And then depending on ability and like age groups for the 10-year-olds, depends which hour they'll be in and stuff like that. So,
okay.
But it's all about ball mastery, getting as many touches on the ball as possible.
Yeah.
And then we have like a topic every week. So it might be 1v1s 1 week. It might be 2v2s. It might be a possession. So they'll do 15, 20 minutes of that. And then they'll do games at the end for a bit of fun, because I know kids like to have the games at the end.
That's really good, though, to obviously have that. And, you said it there isn't an awful lot about that in the local area. So, what's your aim in terms of the geographic? Would you sort of aim for people from the whole of Hertfordshire to come down?
So initially, I've got a 2 or 3 year plan. Initially starting Stevenage, kind of branch out a little bit, maybe sort of pitching, Welling, but then also open up one in Essex, because that's where I live now. But and then kind of open up a little bit up here. But I wanted to start it in Stevenage and trying to branch out sort of around that area first. But yeah, it seems to be going really well. It's a shame with the lockdown. It's just obviously it's killed it a little bit. But I'm going to do a relaunch. I'm thinking the Friday, once they let us out.
Yeah.
The Friday, once they let us out, is going to be a relaunch, or the week after. So
okay.
The launches are always free, so the kids can come and experience what we do, and then from there it's £36 a month for 4 sessions or 5 sessions, depending on how many Fridays there are in that month.
That's actually really good as well, because actually if you break it down, you're not spending too much each week.
No, exactly. That's the thing. I didn't want to make it so people paying the earth for things. If it's a 1-to-1 session, that's slightly different. Because it's a group session and it's a planned schedule that we do. We don't want. I said to the guys that I'm in with, we don't want to be charging people the earth. It's all about getting the kids to improve. The whole point of setting up the centre was to try and form a bridge between grassroots and academies. So if people really excel in the sessions, then I know enough people in the game that I can give someone a call and say, come down, have a look,
and then push them on to the next level. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's really good. And obviously with Stevenage as well, you were there last season, and what about the likes of Arthur and Jack as well? The guys coming through, the young guys coming through, they're exceptional talents, aren't they?
They are indeed, yeah. Arthur's a good player. Jack's a really good player as well. Good lads as well, which is more important. They work hard. They've got a good attitude, and like you said, they're talented. So I think you've got 2 good talents there that maybe if they're not going to be playing at Stevenage, they need to go out and play games, experience first team football and playing for points. But yeah, no, both good players.
And Jack played most of the game yesterday, and he was exceptional. He pretty much ran the midfield, and obviously they went on and got the 2-1 victory last night as well. And What does that sort of mean to, kind of break that duck of winning for the first time in an 11? What's that sort of do for the confidence and the motivation moving forward of players?
Oh, it's massive. It's massive. We had it last year where we just couldn't buy a win. Wherever we did, we couldn't buy a win. We went through 4 managers. It was a season that was really, really unsettled and kind of designed for disaster, really. But yeah, I think Revs is a good coach. He's a good man as well, which helps. If he can get the boys playing how he wants to play, I'm sure they'll do all right. But like you said, when you get stuck in a route of losing games, it becomes very, very difficult. But yeah, like you said, the win's going to be massive for them, absolutely massive. It's just how they build on that now. You can't kind of come away from it and go, right, we're good now, boys, we won. No, you need to carry on now. You need to be better than last week, otherwise you ain't going to win again. No,
absolutely. And I've watched every single game, and I've seen the difference from, say, when we played Bolton at the weekend. We were great second half, and we were unlucky not to get a draw, not to get a result. But the pressing and the intensity was so much higher yesterday, and that's what won us the game.
Yeah. I think sometimes people can go away from the simple fact of just running around can win you a football match.
Yeah.
Of course, you do need talent in your side. Somebody that can, like Petty's ball. Was it Petty that played Danny through?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So a ball like that is a match winning pass. You need that in the team. But at the same time, you've got to graft. If you don't graft, then you're going to lose. There's no point.
And then you've got guys like Ote as well, who's on loan from QPR, and he's hobbling off at the pitch about 2 minutes before the end because he's literally run himself into the ground. That's how much work he's put in.
Yeah. It's good to see. To be fair, I could do with someone doing my running for me.
Just give you the ball from 25 yards and you'll smash it top corner like you did against Southend.
Oh, that'd be nice, yeah.
But no, we'll jump into the next one now. So obviously that wasn't the only time you scored against Southend. You scored in the 4-2 as well, and that was we come back from 2-1 down. We were 2-1 down at half time, and then turned it on its head and got the win in the second half.
Yeah, that was a great one. Yeah, I think I jumped in the crowd that one. I think, or at least hugged one of the fans.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no,
that's brilliant comeback. That.
Yeah, do you know what? Funny enough, Southend's one of the teams that I score a lot against.
I've noticed that when I was going through the research. To be fair.
Yeah, I wish I could play them a bit more. To be honest, I might get 15 a season. Yeah, for some I don't know what it is. I scored against them last season as well, didn't I? In the cup.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was your one goal last season was against them. Yeah.
So, which I hobbled off with for my knee, didn't I, after that game?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason scored against them quite a lot.
I think you've played against them 4 or 5 times and scored like in every game, but maybe one. So good record against them. Maybe you'll play against them, and and do it again in the near future. Yeah,
I hope so. Yeah, try and keep.
I know there's a couple of Southend fans that I know that might be watching this stream, so I don't want to say too much.
Yeah.
But I was staying down there for the game we played him in the playoffs, and I did get a lot of stick for it, to be honest, because I was staying with him. So I had to put up with him. Yeah, and I had to put up with him, and obviously, we've got Coach playing for us now, and Parrett were playing for them on that day. So
yeah. How's he been doing?
Yeah, Coach is doing all right. He didn't play last night, but he's looked good, and Pross played well yesterday. And I chat to Ben sometimes as well, and he's been playing well. He's done a good job. As they're all kind of getting used to each other as much as getting used to the club at the moment, because we've had so much sort of change around the place. Yeah,
got a lot of new players there, so it takes time for them to gel, doesn't it? So
it does, exactly. But no, Coach has done well.
Good.
And what was your experience with Scotty as well? Scotty as a captain, Cuthbert.
Oh, Scotty Cuthbert. Yeah, he was good. It's hard to understand sometimes with the accent. But no, he's a good leader. Obviously, I can't remember who we played. I think it was Bradford away, where he was excellent for the first 40-odd minutes, and I think he cleared the ball and ended up kicking the bottom of someone's foot, and you notice how much you miss him when he had to come off. But yeah, no, he's a good guy.
And of course, he signed the new contract as well, so he's with the club for a bit longer, and that's great to have him still involved because he's obviously such a leader and a winner, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. To be fair, I don't think we had enough of leaders last year. It was, like I said, that it's difficult. We had 4 managers. It was just a season of disaster. So it's one of them seasons you kind of just need to write off and forget because so much stuff happened.
Yeah.
That it didn't even seem real. Yeah. So.
All right. We'll jump into the next part now. And obviously, you touched on Ronnie a little bit in regards to playing with Ronnie, and what a fantastic player Ronnie is. Another leader, another guy that you just want around the place and on your side, don't you?
Oh, he's probably the best guy in football I've ever met. He's one of my good friends, and he's one of them that he'll put you up against the wall if you're doing it. Like he's a proper captain. He's a proper guy, and to be fair to him, I think he's still at Billericay, right? So
he's still playing there. He's captain with the Billericay.
Yeah, he's still running. He's what?
I think he scored more. I think he scored more
back in the day, but I think he's running even a little bit funnier now. But he's
still. I was going to say, no, I was just going to say that. I think that Ronnie scored more goals last season for Billericay, and he scored him his whole time at Stevenage.
Yeah, it was funny when I re-signed again. Someone showed me a video of his only shot the season before, and it was hilarious.
Where did it end up in Fairland's car park across from the ground? Yeah, where the fair is sometimes. Was it over there? Was it?
I think it hit the bus on the way around the roundabout. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, he's a fantastic player. He's missed the Stevenage, really, isn't he, Ronnie? And somebody that went to Luton and came back. It's kind of to have that legacy still and not even tainted a little bit is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, as well, I had to miss his testimonial because I was at Gillingham and I asked the manager if I could. We had this do on at the ground for all the fans, and I just said to him, "Look, one of our best mates having his testimonial. Can I go?" And they didn't let me come, and I had to let him down, and I felt really guilty about it. But the shows how much of a legend he is. He got his testimonial, and everyone loves him, didn't they?
Absolutely, that was a fantastic day for his testimonial as well. Even to the very end when he brought his lad on to come and score the winner. So
yeah, exactly.
It was perfect. It was a great day all round for for Ronnie and for Louis and for Amy and all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've touched on that one. There's this one here. There was a game against Wickham as well. I just had a little look at in regarding to you scored one of the goals in the game against Wickham, and then you missed a penalty as well. It could have won us the game right at the end. So, do you remember much about that game? And obviously, right at the very end there.
Don't want to talk about that one. Sorry.
Right, we'll skip over that. Move on.
Yeah, that was one of my ones I'd like to forget, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll move on from that. Absolutely fine. And then, we said about the Southend one.
To be fair, I haven't missed a penalty since. So, just saying.
Fair enough. Don't jinx it too much, though. You might be given one at Wellstone now, and you might have just jinxed yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, don't say that.
That'd be top bins.
Yeah.
Keeper's going to stand there and just watch it go in. We spoke about Southend as well. So you had the second spell at the club as well. When what was it about coming back to the club that sort of attracted you to re-sign the second time round? And you said there was a little bit of unfinished business still now. Like, was there still? Obviously, does that go back from then as well? Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, obviously, I watched the season before, and you guys just missed out on the playoffs.
When we finished 1 point off with Dino in charge. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So obviously, when Steve Evans came in at Gillingham, literally didn't even give me a chance. He just rang me as soon as he signed and said, you're not for us, so we're going to bring in 4 midfielders. When we spoke to Stevenage and Leon, and he said, "Yeah, we'll have you back," and stuff like that. It just seemed like the right fit at the time. I felt like just because you just missed out on the playoffs, it would be a season where we was pushing again. And I just felt like maybe this could be the year that I could come back and we could go up. Obviously, it didn't happen like that. But that's what I had in my head. Yeah.
Fair enough. And you just spoke about the goal that you scored against Southend as well. Let's have a little look. So actually, just going back to your first spell, Ryan, who's in the studio there, the Plymouth Argyle fan, he was actually at the Exeter against Stevenage game, the 3-3 draw, and you played in that game, scored one of the goals in that game, I think, if I remember rightly as well. And I think that was when Welp scored at the end to make it 3-3, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a game where it was 3-3, but 5 of them were like worldies.
Yeah. And what your goal was? Yours was from about 20, 25 yards as well.
Yeah, I scored a free kick. Welp scored a volley from about 25 yards on the move. And then two of their lads scored goals like that, and someone scored no red kick. So,
that's it. I remember, yeah,
it was a mental game. That was under Teddy at the time.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was one to remember, actually. Yeah, I remember talking to Tom Conlon before the free kick because he had the ball, and I was like, "Tom, I'm going to score." And he was like, "No, I'm going to score." I went, "Tom, please give me the ball. I'm going to score."
Move out the way. Yeah,
we had a little bit of a row about it, and funny enough, Tom moved into my mum and dad's house. So he put him in digs.
Yeah.
My mum at the time, my mum was like, "Oh, what was Tom's problem? Why didn't he give you the ball?" I was like, we both wanted to take it. It was fine, not a problem. But my mum mentioned it to him the first day he moved in, and he was like, "Oh shit." It was quite funny, actually.
That's all right. Tom would have missed it anyway. You scored, he wouldn't have.
Yes. I was buzzing it went in. Yeah, I think that's why I punched the air in such anger because
it was. Yeah, I remember the celebration. Yeah. And that was live on TV. I think was that Teddy's first game in charge?
It was quite early on in the season. Yeah, it was definitely on TV as well. Yeah.
And you played under him, and you're a big Spurs fan as well, and he's a Spurs legend. So, what did you sort of learn off of Teddy there as well when you were at Stevenage?
To be fair, I just wanted to do as much finishing as I could with him. Like, just like in the finishing sessions, he was unbelievable. Being whatever age he was he like 41? No, 50? 50? He finished playing when he was 41, didn't he?
Yeah, he was like 48, 49, 50 odd, yeah.
Yeah, and he was still like some of the finishing he was doing in the finishing drill. You think, bloody.
I think he actually named himself on the bench for one of the Hearts Senior Cup games, didn't he? I don't think he came on, but
yeah, I think he did actually. Yeah. No, it's good.
We had Dave Besant as well. Dave Besant was on and Sam and Dave was on the bench at 51, 52, wasn't he as well? One game.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Wow.
We had a good little backroom team there as well. Kevin Watson was part of that, wasn't
he? Yeah, he was a good player as well. He used to join in with training. He was very good.
And then we've got. Let's have a little look at what we've got from there now. So you've had your fair share of injuries, which you've already mentioned as well. What's that sort of done to you? Obviously, that's sort of held you back quite a lot along the way, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I obviously had my knee at Stevenage when I was doing well. Lucky enough, I come back really fit and strong. I had a good surgeon, which allowed me to come back pretty quick. Then I had obviously did well. Went to Wimbledon. Yeah.
That was with Darius and Welps as well, wasn't it? There's a few of you that went.
Yeah. So. But again, I went there. Had a pretty good season the first year. I think I scored 6 or 7, got 15 assists. And in the second season, about 9 games in, I stretched for a ball. Someone pushed me in the back, and my adductor come off.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I ruptured my adductor, so I was out for 4 months there. But lucky enough, I was able to come back. I had a good surgeon again. I came back and helped him stay up. Yeah, scored a penalty in one of the games late on, 96th minute. Which pretty much kept us up. So I've had some real good memories. Obviously, I've had injuries and missed a few games, but I think I felt like the injuries kind of slowed me down in the sense of having very consistent seasons. I've had good spells in the seasons, but I haven't had a full season of consistency.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. And of course, in that Everton game as well, with the FA Cup game, there was that really nasty injury to who was it? I can't remember the Everton guy, but obviously, you would have.
Yeah, I can't think who it was. Yeah, he broke his leg, didn't he?
Broke his leg, and you would have seen that, and you would have been like, obviously, a guy that's had a lot of injuries yourself as well. Obviously, you had quite a lot of sympathy for him, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I didn't have any, so
fair enough.
But yeah, looking back at it now, yes. Because the thing is, as well, he literally went to go for a shot, didn't he? And one of our lads put his leg in the way, and he kicked the back of his leg, didn't he?
I'm trying to remember what midfielder it was. It was who was it? It will come to me like probably after the stream or whatever, and I'll text it you. But yeah,
I can't think who it was either. To be honest,
I'll look in the comments. Somebody probably put a message in the comments and probably let us know who it was. But you've touched on your family already, and the fact that they're always there for every game. What does the support of your family mean for sort of having them there on match day?
Yeah, 100%. To be fair, they've been there for me since I was 5-6 years old. They run me around the country. When I was at QPR, they used to run me to training 3 times a week, take me to games. When I went up to Manchester to play games. And then as soon as I became professional, I don't think they've ever missed a game. Obviously, away games not.
Brian Oviedo, it's just been put in the chat.
Sorry?
It was Oviedo. It's just been put in the chat by Billy.
Okay.
That was the Everton guy that got injured.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So now carry on. Go on. What were you saying?
Yeah. No, just that they've not really. They've been at every home game and most of the away games as well. So yeah, it means a lot. My son loves it as well. He said to me the other day, 7 now. He said, "Oh, when are you going to get back playing, Dad? I want to come and watch you." And I was like, "When you're allowed back in the stadium, mate."
And of course, he's playing as well, isn't he? He's playing at the moment. He's Sort of. There's a few times you've been down to watch him lately. I've seen. Yeah,
he's doing really well. I think his first 3 games, I think he scored 12 goals.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's done really well. Just plays for a local side called East Parrett. So he's enjoying it. He loves it. He just loves playing football. So he's always got football with him. He's always asking me to go over the park with him. So yeah, it's nice.
And that's great as well. To sort of have that. So let's have a little look here now. We touched on the injuries there, and obviously the pandemic and stuff as well, and the whole impact that's had. We touched on the Southend game, Scotty Cuff, but so what would you say you've learnt from sort of, Alex Revell as well? Obviously, you touched on Alex a little bit. You didn't have too long with Alex, but what do you say you learnt off of Alex, and how do you reckon he's going to get on?
To be fair, he was always around it, wasn't he, from the start? And I got on. I got on really well with him when he was like the assistant and stuff like that. He was always someone I could go and talk to, especially going through the injury I had, where we couldn't really diagnose what it was. And he was brilliant around that. As a person, he's fantastic. But obviously, he was a good coach as well. I didn't see much of him as a manager. I think we had 2 games before we got locked down, and one of them was the Crawley away game, which I came on the sub and did pretty well. So so game that I didn't get to work with more, because I feel like he could have probably got the best out of me because of the way he trains is like high intensity, and that's something that I always thought that I was good at. And when I'm really fit and training at high intensity, that's when you get the best out of me. So I felt like I didn't ever reach my match fitness last year. So I feel like if I was still there under him this year, I probably could have. But yeah, it is what it is.
And you had a lot of, sort of spells where you were sort of in the squad and then getting injured and then back out of the squad again. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just gonna have to go downstairs and put you on charge. So I'm about to run out.
That's fine, mate. All right. So we've got some comments and questions and stuff as well, but hopefully, let's have a little look here now. We haven't got loads more to get through anyway, to be honest with you.
No problem.
Just a little bit. So what happens when you've had 2 spells at the club, then you have to get an extra couple of sheets because you've got 2 spells to talk about rather than just one.
Sorry, mate, I didn't hear that. What was that?
I was just saying that's what happens when you've got 2 spells rather than just one. You get an extra few questions at the end.
That's all right. All right.
But yeah, we've had actually quite a lot of comments from people in the chat and stuff as well. So people want to hear, and get their own sort of stuff through.
Yeah.
As well. So Russ has put, once you finish your playing career, would you ever consider going into commentary as another option? I know you're doing the coaching side of it already.
I think so. Yeah. It's not something that I've ever thought about, to be honest with you. It could be something that could interest me. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to sort this charger out.
That's all right, mate.
See me reaching around.
Yeah, no, that's all right. We've got one here from Ryan as well. Who was the best Argyle that you played with? He's a Plymouth fan, so he wants to know, who was the guys at Plymouth Argyle that
Yannick Balassi.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there. Obviously, you see what he's gone on to do. To be fair to him as well, he used to say to us, he said, "Watch, boys, I'm going to play in the Premier League." And at the time, he was injured. And some of the boys were like, "Yeah, all right, whatever, Yannick, don't be silly, mate." And you see how his confidence has took him to where it's took him. So, yeah, he was quality. Not me. Do you want to say hello on the stream?
Oh, it's your little. You all right, buddy?
Hi.
How you doing, mate?
Just talking to Stevenage.
Yeah.
All right, give me 10 minutes, mate. All right, let me finish off. Okay?
Yeah.
Good lad.
We'll talk to him now about his 12 goals in 3 games.
Be on here all night.
Fair enough.
They can be quiet. That's the secret.
Yeah. And then we've got a question here from Jay. Who was the toughest team that you ever faced?
What, at Stevenage or just in general?
Just in your career in general so far, yeah.
My debut for Tottenham, Shakhtar Donetsk away in -4 degrees. Yeah. And they had Willian, Jansen, and Fernandinho as a midfield 3.
Oh wow!
That was my debut. Yeah. So. And
did you come on as a sub or did you start that game?
No, I started that game. Yeah, and to be fair, we lost 2-0, but they were unbelievable, the 3 of them. And then I came on as a sub in the return leg. But yeah, that was a tough game. Yeah, them 3 were very, very good players.
He's also said there, Ryan, did you ever think that the red card for Argyle against Swindon in the FA Cup was harsh?
Probably not. No, because the thing is, I scored my first goal for Plymouth the week before, and I went into that game just wanting to shoot, and I remember taking the ball past someone. It was slightly heavy touch, and I just flew into the tackle because in my mind I was shooting, and it probably was a little bit aggressive. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We've got a question here from Giggsy as well. What was your sort of go-to workout music that pumped you up and made you push harder? Was there anything that sort of stood out?
I'll stick on like garage best hits or something like that.
Oh, so
there isn't like a particular song that I go to. It's just I put a garage compilation on, and just let it play through. Yeah.
Fair enough. And then we've got John Warner Sports Centre in Hoddesdon is full of Spurs fans as well. Jay was saying, I think that's going back to when you were saying about your coaching stuff. Maybe that's a potential place there for you at some point.
Hoddesdon, yeah. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah, I'll look into that. Does the guy know of any venues that I could look at?
I think that is a venue, the John Warner Sports Centre.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll have a look at that. Yeah. Can you message me that after? Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely, Dino. Yeah, that's fine, buddy. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then we've got another question here from Giggsy. What would you tell your younger self about your career, knowing what you know now? Sort of what advice would you give yourself?
That's a great question, actually. Just I don't know. Maybe some of the decisions I've made at certain times, going to certain clubs, I'd do differently. Yeah, like some of the loan spells that I decided, like I agreed to go on and things like that. If I was advising myself now as a young player, I'd say that doesn't suit you, because the way I wanted to play, the clubs that I went to didn't play that style. So already I was fighting a losing battle. So yeah, just I'd give my advice, that sort of advice to myself. Yeah.
All right, and then let's have a little look here now. I know he's put in there about Sheringham being manager. Yeah, that was the Oviedo comment which we said about. Jay is saying, what about Spurs for the title this season, the Premier League?
Oh, please.
I hope not. Honestly, that's the one thing I just cannot deal with is Spurs winning the league.
Do you know what? It might be this year, you know. The way they played the other day against Man City.
Yeah, really good performance. Yeah.
We've always been a good team, but now we've got that extra grit of. I watched a video that Spurs posted of the tackles that were made and the work rate of the players.
Yeah, and
it just seems like Mourinho's got them all buying into it, and some of the talent they've got now. The goal, like I can't remember what game it was, but I think who was it? Southampton game where we won like 5-1. And it was just like Son up front with Kane. It's just a frightening front three.
I'm worried about the North London derby, to be fair, with those two. Yeah.
To be honest, I don't like talking about London derby till it's done. So because I don't like to jinx it. So yeah.
But I do think that Spurs. I'm not one of those deluded Arsenal followers that think Arsenal are going to win the league every season. Like Spurs this season look strong.
Yeah, to be fair, we've been threatening it for the last 5 or 6 years. Obviously, Leicester, no one see Leicester coming. That was the year we should have probably won it. And then obviously Liverpool over the last year, 2 years, Man City. We were just a bit unlucky with the timing. But I feel like this year could be the year for sure.
I hope not, but I suppose they've got to win it at some point.
Yeah, hopefully in my lifetime. Yeah,
the last time was in black and white. I have to get that one in there.
I'll let you get away with that one.
There's another place as well for Astro 4G, 3G pictures. Jay was saying that Woodson Park in where? I'll send you both anyway.
Brilliant, thank you for that.
Which is fine, mate. So we've touched on the Scott Cuthbert and Alex Ravel side of things and all of that. So the club have always been sort of very community based, and how important is that for a club like Stevenage as well?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, you saw what we did in lockdown, like delivering sandwiches to people, vulnerable people, and stuff like that. And it's always been a family club, and I've always felt, especially my family as well, I've always felt really welcome, like at games and stuff, and everybody around the club have always looked after us. So and I feel like they do a lot for the community, which is massive. I know a lot of clubs do it, but I feel like Stevenage do go above and beyond to try and help.
We've got another comment there from Jay as well. Who was the best manager that you've worked under? Obviously, there's a few at Stevenage, isn't there?
Yeah.
And obviously, throughout your career, even at Spurs, who was the manager at Spurs who kind of gave you your breakthrough in that Europa League game?
Harry Redknapp was the manager when I made my debut. For organisation and sessions, I'd say Villas Boas.
Okay. Yeah.
Just the way like the sessions were run and the things that were being put on. Now, me being a coach myself, like just watching the way he'd set things up and the way things flowed, and sometimes you, as a player, you stand around a little bit waiting for the next thing to happen. whereas this was just like it was like a train, like just one thing after the other, and the things you'd learn. I remember training with him for 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and the way I felt that I progressed in them 4 weeks was massive.
And Ryan in there as well. What are your thoughts on Steve Schumacher as well? Because you played with him, didn't you? And he's now with Argyle. He's assistant manager at Argyle.
Yeah, great guy. Yeah, great guy. Obviously played a lot of games with him. Got on really well with him. But to be honest, I haven't spoke to him for a little while. I saw him at the game last year, I think it was, when we played up there.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I've seen him in a few years. So it was nice to catch up. But what do you guys think of him? I haven't really seen much of him coaching wise.
I'm sure he'll put a comment in there and kind of let you know in a minute. But so what are your sort of main sort of tips, and what advice would you give to sort of anyone up and coming who wants to get into the coaching industry? Like, a good friend of mine, Jordan, is he's an Essex boy as well, and he's got his own club that he runs, his own little five-a-side club. So, what about what sort of advice would you give to guys like him?
It depends on what age he's coaching, but the main thing is just doing as much ball mastery with them as possible. Letting them enjoy themselves. You get the best out of people when they enjoy coming. The way I try and run my sessions is I'll try and get them as many touches as possible on the football. You don't have long with them, so you want to try and I'll make sure that everybody has their own football for the first 25 minutes of a session. And then I'll go into a topic that I feel that maybe we struggled with a few weeks ago, we want to touch on again, or it's just like as much game related stuff as possible as well, and try and get them to understand. If I had more time, I would try and do more on the mental side of the game as well. I don't think that's touched on enough. A lot of people just see the kind of glamour of football, but there's so much mental side of it that people don't see as well.
And of course, that's a very key point that you've made there as well about the mental side of the game, because I've spoken to players who have struggled mentally coming out of teams, or players who have struggled with injury, or even with Stevenage as well, the likes of Michael Falasitis, who came out of the club and then went into a different industry, the sort of more reality TV industry, and then obviously sadly took his own life because he just wasn't able to cope, was he, with the sort of transition and the change.
Yeah. It's very difficult. I found it myself a little bit this summer. Obviously, being locked down for so long, it's just lucky that I've got a good support system around me. My son keeps me going. My missus is fantastic. My mum and dad are great. Missus' side of the family are great. So, but there's so many things that happen in football. So I've had 2 really big injuries that I've been out for 4+ months. And sitting on the sidelines watching is the most difficult thing in the world, knowing that you're so close to being back or you're so far away from being back, depending on what time it is in the injury. And it's trying to become focused on. I found the key for my recoveries were setting myself little goals of, right, so I've just done my ACL, so I've got to have my operation. Now I've got to set my goal of getting the knee to bend properly again. That was my first goal. Then my second goal was strengthening a certain muscle around that knee until I can do a certain amount of. Do you know what I mean? It was like little goals that allowed me to progress so quickly. But if I didn't set myself them goals, I could have quite easily had a not a mental breakdown, but like to that extent of mentally not knowing what to do. But yeah, luckily enough, I've had a good support system around me for the hard times.
And I was just looking into Wellstone a little bit as well, where you're at. Is it Dean Brennan that's in charge there?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, he used to play at Stevenage as well, Dean. He used to play similar kind of position, centre mid, to what you did.
Yeah. No, he's a fantastic coach, to be honest with you. He's I've met him a few times before and spoke with him. And really liked what he had said. And when he called me in the summer and mentioned about like coming down, it didn't appeal to me because it was part-time and I wanted to carry on playing full-time. And it was only when I realised that because of the situation we're all in, there's not as much budget around. There's not as many players in squads.
Yeah.
It kind of got to the decision where I was like, right, well, I've got to provide for my family, so I'll go part time and go and work as well and see what it's about. It's not easy. It's
No,
not
and
easy at all.
Dean,
But
back in 2003, Dean was playing for the club. So, yeah. He had
he's a fantastic coach, to be honest. Yeah.
17, 18 appearances in his spell at Stevenage, and he played for Hitchin and other clubs locally around here as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hemel and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, I have to agree with that, what Matt put as well. Parrett and Schumacher, what a centre midfield partnership that was. That was really, really good partnership, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. It was a good spell at the club.
So we've touched on it a little bit earlier, but how important is it to get the fans back into the stadium, when it's safe to do so? And obviously with the news that the fans are going to be returning hopefully as early as maybe even a week on Saturday to some clubs.
Oh, it's going to be massive. Even if you look at like Premier League games at the moment, there's teams beating teams that would never beat teams if the fans were there.
Yeah,
because it does make a difference. I don't care what anyone says, it does, in a good way or a bad way. And to score a goal as well and then celebrate with no atmosphere must be strange. I haven't experienced it yet, but it must be strange. Even like watching the game, obviously I was involved in the game Saturday, and it was a 3-3 game for the neutral and for the fans. It's a fantastic game, but there was just no atmosphere there. So it's weird, it's strange.
But it's going to be great. You touched on it earlier in regards to getting the fans back in as well. And it's going to be great for the clubs as well, but much needed revenue and income, yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think I saw Phil was in the news talking about it as well. It's just like it's good that there's no teams that have actually folded from it yet. But
yeah.
I think if it carries on any longer, then teams must be quite close to folding.
Absolutely, yeah. And did you have many dealings with Phil? What was your sort of relationship like with the chairman?
Yeah, I got on really well with Phil. My first spell, especially. Obviously, I was only there for a season last year.
Yeah.
But sat down, had some lunch with him a couple of times at the training ground. Always got on really well with him, and he looked after me when I got my first injury with my knee. I had only had a 1-year contract, and him and the gaffer Graham at the time said, "Just focus on getting fit. You've got a contract for next year. Don't worry about that." And that was a massive thing for me because, like I said before, mentally, that if I was injured and had no contract, it could have been a really hard time. But they took that away and they were like, "Look, you've got a contract. Just focus on getting fit." So it was good.
That's really good for Phil and for Graham to actually have that faith in you to get the recovery and come back a stronger player. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So we haven't got too many more now at all. Actually, just maybe one or two more. Yeah. So you touched on the fans a little bit, and you've always shared a great bond and relationship with the Stevenage fans as well. So what would you say to any Stevenage fans? There's quite a lot watching, in fact, but for this coming season, sort of, what's your message to the Stevenage fans, and sort of, what would you say to them at the moment?
To be fair, I'd start off by saying thanks for supporting me all the years that you did, and just be patient. It's obviously a brand new team. It's Rev's in his first real job. It's going to take time for the team to gel and for Revs to get his points across. He seemed to be pretty good at it when I was there. It was only a short time, but it's going to take time for him to grow as well. And I'm sure you'll be all right.
And of course, he's learning on the job as well, and he's got Lenny Lawrence and other guys there around him who have, sort of worked at a lot higher level than this, who can help him out. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's always difficult. It's his first job. It's a very good club. It's a great club for this level. So you kind of expect success as well. So it's not an easy job to go into. But like I said before, when you've got to build a squad and not only build a squad, but build it in a pandemic where there's no money and there's
Didn't even know what league we were going to be in for the majority of it as well. Yeah,
exactly that. I don't know if that was a part that got played in to certain players not staying as well. Thinking that we was going down. Maybe they released a few thinking that we was going down. We'd had to cut the budget even more. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think you just got to be patient.
And
you don't want another season like last season where you got 4 managers. It's ridiculous.
And of course, you know, we've already got Alex Ravel there, and he's already got his first win of the season as well yesterday. So hopefully he can kick on and build something from that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I see you've got Petty back as well. That's a great signing.
Yeah, I'm a good friend of Tom, and you know, I'm part of his Twitch community as well. I'm in his Discord servers and all of that. I was talking to Tom just last night after the game and said, you know, that was a brilliant performance and a much needed 3 points. And I spoke to Cokes as well, and they're both buzzing and really happy to actually get those 3 points and get the victory, and you know, have something to work towards now and to kick on from. Yeah.
For sure.
We got a message there from Matt. Opinions on Russell Slade?
To be honest, didn't really have too much dealings with him. He'd come to the games, but again, it was only the last 2 games. So, is he still there?
No, he was the one that was replaced by Danny Lawrence.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, to be honest, I didn't really have too much dealings with him. Like I said, we only had 2 games where he was there. And it was only in once a week, training wise as well. So yeah, didn't really get too much feedback off that one.
All right. So we touched on your inspirations earlier as well, and the coaching side of it. Would you ever consider sort of going into management yourself?
I wouldn't say no, but it's not something that I'm desperate to do.
No.
I'm more going down the line of like helping young kids, trying like I said, try and get people into academies, try and bridge the gap between grassroots and academies. That's where my focus is at the moment. Maybe in the future, I don't know.
You might coach your boys' team. You never know.
Yeah, maybe. To be fair, they did ask me to get involved, but I didn't want to get involved because I've seen it before where the dads are the coaches of the teams and parents get a little bit funny and stuff. I just wanted to kind of sit back and watch and let him enjoy himself.
Fair enough, and he's done well getting 12 and 3 in the first few, so obviously it's worked.
Yeah, to be fair, he scored a couple of free kicks as well. He's doing well.
So you're teaching them the free kicks as well, yeah?
Here he is.
From the halfway line.
From the halfway line. So you've scored more goals than your dad from better positions than your dad, yeah?
Yeah, you better than me. Yeah.
I make it every day.
You don't do that.
I do.
But yeah, we'll let's have a little look. I think that's it, to be honest. Yeah, we'll end it there, actually, mate. We've had a long sort of hour chat, so we'll wrap it up, to be fair. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant.
But yeah, I'll send you those links over to those pictures anyway, where you can check those pictures out and see if they're suitable for what you want.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Thanks.
All right, so cheers for that, Dean, and yeah, thanks for joining, mate, and enjoy the rest of your night as well. And I've got to say up the Gunners, and Sol Campbell is an Arsenal man, but
you had to go and spoil it, didn't you? We had a good hour and 13 minutes. So you had to go and spoil it. I appreciate it. Thanks for the call.
Nice one, Dino. Thanks a lot, mate. And hopefully Steve can go and kick on and have a good season now on the back of that win yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish them all the best.
Cheers. Thanks a lot, mate. Nice one.
See you, mate.